Engine Test Complex. Now we will be going on about a 40-minute riding tour from here. We will be going out to view the actual test complex, then right back here to Infinity. And once I do get out on the main highway, I will begin my tour. And along the way, I'll be sharing some facts and history with you about the center. Now, if you do have a camera, feel free to take as many pictures as you like along the way. I do ask, though, for everyone's safety, please remain seated on the bus as I am driving in a full motion. I will be slowing up at the test complex so you can take photos in if you would like.
You do.
Is this everyone's first visit here? Yes. Definitely.
Yes.
Welcome.
You're asking me for my license, huh? You're asking me for my license, huh? What do you need a license for? What did you need a license for?
Oh no, I need a license. That's an adult.
Oh, okay.
You're the student, you don't need a license.
Yeah.
60s, and it was used for barging in the first and second stages of the Saturn V rocket. Because they were so large, they would come in by the waterways. Roadways were too small for them to travel by. And you can actually see the Saturn V rocket booster behind the side of the Infinity Science Center. So I know today it's raining a little bit, so you can actually see it from upstairs in our second floor if you can't get out to the actual booster itself. The buildings that we are now approaching, they also do have some history behind them. These buildings were built in the 60s, and they did house the stages of the Saturn rocket. Now today they are occupied by two agencies here with us on site. One agency is NOAA, the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration. A division of NOAA is the NDBC, the National Data Buoy Center. Now they do actually service and maintain several different types of weather buoys here. And out in front of Infinity Science Center, you can see all the buoys on display. There's a tsunami buoy, a TOW buoy, and the Nomad ship-shape buoy. All of the buoys will stay in the waters up to about 24 months at a time. Once they're in need of repairs, they'll bring them here, do the repairs, then get them ready to put back out into the waters all over the Gulf of Mexico, the Atlantic, Pacific, also the Great Lakes and the Barren Sea. We get a lot of our weather data each day from our local news from the weather buoy. Now by now you may be been wondering, why would they choose this area in Hancock County for the Space Center to be located in? And there were three reasons in the choosing. Two of those reasons I've already talked about. The land that was sparsely populated and the waterway access for transporting. Third reason, and most important reason of all, was for one man. He did believe in his home state of Mississippi, his nation's hopes and dreams. That would be Senator John C. Stennis. Now, Senator Stennis was from DeKalb, Mississippi, and he did serve as our senator here for just a little over 40 years. So, 1988, President Ronald Reagan signed an executive order renaming the center after him. They did plan that occasion, and it would happen on his 87th birthday. So we do say that renaming the center after him was a birthday gift he would never forget. He did also visit us here until his health would no longer allow him to. He did pass away in 1995. He was at the age of 93. He also has a nuclear aircraft carrier named after him, the USS John C. Stennis.
Nuclear aircraft.
And we are home here to about 40 different agencies. All of the different agencies share alongside of NASA the upkeep of everything. The largest agency with us here is the Navy. Coming up in just a moment, we're going to be passing in front of the Naval Research Laboratories to the right of the bus, the NRL. They do a lot of mapping out of the ocean floor. Then they will apply it toward maritime uses by using one of the world's largest supercomputers that they have here on site for military ships all over the world. It's the data. Also coming up to the left of the bus is going to be the main NASA administrative building. Out front of the building, you'll see two engines on display. The larger engine is a space shuttle engine, and the smaller engine is a J2 engine. They were 5 J2s on the second stage of the Saturn V rocket. And they were also 5 F1s on the first stage of the Saturn V, and we do have the Saturn V rocket booster behind the Infinity Science Center with all of those F1s on it. Looking over to the right is the Naval Oceanographic Office. We do have the largest concentration of naval oceanographers located here at Stennis Space Center, anywhere else worldwide. Also the only land-based Mississippi Rear Admiral heads up the Naval Meteorology and Oceanography Command headquarters here at Stennis Space Center. Also looking over to the left is home to our previous visitor center. It was known as Stenosphere. We relocated out to the Infinity Science Center this April will make 5 years ago. The blue tower that you see standing above the building was at one time the office of Dr. Wernher von Braun. He was the chief architect that designed the Saturn V rocket. And also back at Infinity, they do have an exhibit on the second floor with some of Dr. von Braun's actual artifacts that were left behind in his office. Looking to the right, you'll see some of our academic agencies. Mississippi State University has their Science Technology Center here. Also, the University of Southern Mississippi